Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Shadows of Alm. And this is Policy of Madness. Last time we did some shit here in Trademeet,
Nothing to it.
and now I think we're going to be finishing that up. Then I'm not sure what we're going to do.
Whatever you...
I'll figure it out then. So I intended this time to more or less be done with the topic of logic and go on to other things. Specifically how logic kind of ties in
If you say so.
with power, which is my actual topic here.
We are in your debt for whatever you did. I thank you, and Trademeet thanks you.
Reparations. Okay. Do those reparations include the, like, one or two dudes I saw killed at the beginning? Are they paying for those people to be resurrected? Joaquin went to the abyss and got captured. Or maybe she got captured and dragged to the abyss. We have no patron goddess. I think a lot of places have no patron goddess, and yet they get by okay. But in between my making the last video
We can use whatever help we can get these days.
and making this one, something happened. Alright. What happened is that Richard Dawkins went onto Twitter
Of course.
and he said some things that were absolutely ridiculous. And in the process, he
I'm waiting.
provided an excellent real-world example of how this
If
shit
that's
works.
what you want.
This guy has a genie bottle in his pocket. We're not going to bother trying to pick it. Our ferret could probably pick it. His ability to detect pickpocketing is pretty bad. But we don't really need it, and we don't want to take that risk.
Whatever you desire.
Greetings to you, wayfarer. I am Kanzara of Kalimshan, a Dao Jin, at your service.
I believe this guy also has the same voice from the dude who does Minsk. Yeah, begging the question actually doesn't mean this. I kind of went over that in the last Let's Play. This begs a question. The usual English sense of this term is not the correct logical sense of the term. I question the efficacy of this plan. The merchants coming in, you assume that, you know, a business and a business person is always going to do what maximizes their profit. And so if people are behaving that way, then this would work. You know, you just offer a price that's higher than what the people in town can afford to pay. And so the merchants will sell to the genies and not to the whoever they assume contracted them to bring these goods in. And so in the short term, they're definitely going to be increasing their profit. But in the long term, I actually question whether or not a business person would do this. Because in the long term, you're kind of damaging your business. Because who's going to accept your shipments when the genies are gone after you did this shit? So I'm actually not sure that this would work. And if your objective is to basically just put a stop to trade, why are you charging any prices at all? Why don't you just burn it? Alright, let's see what they have. As I recall, not very much. And I don't actually think their prices are exceptionally high. I think these are actually normal prices, or at least close to it. I could be wrong. Let's see if they'll buy this shit.
It is one of our wayfarers once again. Tell me, what can the Tao do for you this time, my friend?
Don't need any of this. I like Severe Chaos, except for this part. Disintegrated. If things were not disintegrated, this would be a great spell, but... So, what Richard Dawkins did is he provided an amazing opportunity for me to show how this shit works, you know, in the wild, so to speak. So, thank you, Richard Dawkins, for being a dick and shitting on yourself all over the internet so that I could have this opportunity. So, a little background. Richard Dawkins is a white man, middle class. He has a job that he really seems to enjoy. Wow, I'll buy that, okay. He lives in a pacified, peaceful, prosperous Western country. And he is highly educated. He's quite intelligent. He experiences, in short, pretty much every form of privilege that you can name. But he's also an atheist, and as a consequence, he experiences certain disabilities that come from being an atheist in a country that privileges religion, as most countries do. Not all countries. There are some countries that don't, but most of them do. And this offends his very soul in a way that only very privileged people's souls can be offended. And he has an idea that what constitutes a problem for atheists, what constitutes an atheist problem, is only those things that, to be honest, affect him. Now, I'm not going to try to say that there's a cause-effect thing here, because I don't know his soul. I'm not a mind reader, and it could be that this is just a complete coincidence, but I really don't think it is a complete coincidence that he thinks that atheist organizations and atheists as a group should expend their resources attacking problems that affect him, or could potentially affect him, such as the decline in, let's say, the decline in immunization rates. That's a big problem. That's a problem for more than just Richard Dawkins. That's a problem for everyone. Alright. But there are other problems that atheists face as a consequence of being atheists that Richard Dawkins doesn't really think are atheist problems. Take, for example, a poor black woman in the United States who has children and needs low-cost or free childcare in order to work. But in poor black neighborhoods in the United States, a lot of the social safety net from the government is extremely thin. And so much of the charity work that is carried on in those neighborhoods is handled through the local church. What if you're not a member of the local church? Well, then you have a big problem, okay? But that is not a problem that Richard Dawkins thinks is an atheist problem. As far as he's concerned, shit like that is social justice. It's not,
just as,
a problem as a consequence of being an atheist.
Incorrect.
Oh, normally if you talk to her like this, after you talk to the genies, oh, I didn't actually tell them, okay, we'll be back. I didn't actually tell them I was going to find their Rakshasa for them. Okay.
What would you like? Tell me all about it.
We'll be back. If you talk to her after talking to the Rakshasa, she'll say she smells the genies on you, and then she'll start a fight. We can also just plain attack her, but we want to do this the
Nothing to it.
correct way, to whatever degree there is a correct way. Richard Dawkins thinks that these are not atheist problems. He dismisses those as social justice. So a lot of people think that this is because Richard Dawkins is completely self-centered and can't see anybody except himself. I wouldn't go that far. Like I said, I don't know his heart.
If you say so.
But I do think it's a little bit of a, interesting coincidence.
Of course.
Ah, it is one of our wayfarers once again. Tell me, what can the Tao do for you this time, my friend?
So he tells us that she's nearby in some area that's associated with this town, but not actually in the town itself. I wonder where that could possibly be.
If that's what you want.
Alright, now she'll object to the smell of us.
Whatever I'm waiting.
So Richard Dawkins, that's the background on Richard Dawkins. So he went onto Twitter a couple of days ago, and basically out of the blue, he comes out with the following tweet. And I'm paraphrasing this, I don't actually have it in front of me. He said something to the effect of, X thing that I'm talking about is bad, but Y thing is worse. That doesn't mean I'm endorsing X. And he furthermore said that if you didn't agree with him, you need to go back to school, more or less.
Is that all?
He said, go away and don't come back until you learn
to
how to
it.
think. Actually, I'm not going to bother with the magical sword.
Why, you're all such big men.
Alright.
I shall prevail. I shall prevail. Prevail. I shall prevail. I shall prevail. I shall prevail. I shall prevail.
Alright. So Itafir actually had her head in her pocket.
Whatever you want.
And I believe you can pickpocket her and get her head. Now we're going to wait for the plaintar to expire.
I shall prevail.
Plaintars are mainly useful for two traits. They have all these spells, which are great, okay? Especially this one and this one, in my opinion, are their best spells. This is also a pretty good spell, but I don't think it's party-friendly. That's a pretty good spell, and I think it is party-friendly. And, of course, heal is required for at least one thing. And they also have remove curse. Yeah, that's also very helpful. Their other main trait is that they are gated instead of summoned,
Tell me all
which is
about
why I
it.
brought it out here, because they'll cast Death Fog if you let them, and Death Fog will remove all other summons. It's just the Plaintar and the... I like this kind of halo effect. I think it's actually they're like wearing sunglasses or something. They're like wearing epic sunglasses with little feathers, but you can kind of see the epic sunglasses as a sparkle here. So Richard Dawkins did not the Plaintars and the fiends that you summon are the only gated summons.
I'm waiting. Just ask.
So Richard Dawkins did not support his statements at all. He didn't even attempt to do
What
it.
would you like? Yes.
Twitter is not a particularly great medium for this kind of thing, for having detailed philosophical arguments, but he didn't even make an attempt. This statement that he has, it can, the first statement, there's actually two bits of information in the first part of his statement,
Nothing
which
to it.
is, if I say that Y thing is worse than X thing, that doesn't mean I'm endorsing X thing. Now there's a problem you can get into here when you are turning in this quest.
Whatever you want. If you say so.
Oh, I sense that you possess the head of our little interfere with you as agreed. Astounding, even for a mortal.
Now, astounding, even for a mortal, actually kind of implies that it's more astounding for the fact that a mortal did it, like his expectations for mortals are higher than for anyone else, and wow, even for a mortal, this is astounding. But I think the intention is to say that he actually has a very low opinion for mortals. Which I think the reverse of this would be true. It's astounding that even a mortal was able to accomplish this. That's not the phrasing that he actually uses. And this, I believe, was in the first game. We found it in Durlax's tower. I think it was on the roof.
Of course. Tell me all about it.
But this genie's had it for some time, so I guess we have been wandering around for quite a little while. Now the problem you can run into is that it is possible to go and talk to what's his name first.
If that's what
You can talk to him right now, and that'll turn in this quest with him, and in this whole business with the Trademeet having no goods for you.
So, have the Jinn been dealt with? Have you been successful?
But in order to get the actual reward, you have to talk to her first, and she'll be gone. If you talk to him, you can't get your reward. That kind of sucks. So she gives us a bunch of things, including this shield, which is kind of a nice shield for people who use shields. We're not going to rob the guy.
Greetings once again.
If not, she should, but she won't. We came and talked to him first.
Citizens of Trademeet, we are gathered here today to honor the heroes of our small town. They have not only stopped the assault of nature upon us by removing the evil druid that had taken over our local grove, but have also spared us from the recent domination of the genies. You are once again free to walk the streets of Trademeet, and new caravans have already been hired to bring supplies to our local merchants.
I thought the caravans were already coming, but the genies were buying everything up.
It is good to know that even though we do not have our beloved Joaquin looking out for us, we still have people like this who we can turn to in a time of need.
But maybe they're exactly what I was talking about before, and they're not willing to buy from those people now. So that we need a new group? Dunno.
From this day forth, I declare that these companions be known as the heroes of Trademeet.
Bravo! Bravo!
Hear, hear!
You have saved us all!
Oh, yes. Most excellent work, hero.
Indeed.
You will always be welcome here. Obviously, you are deserving of your glowing reputation as a true hero. May the gods smile on your journeys.
Greetings to you. I'm Lady Lilith Loraxel, the head of the noble family that founded this town long, long ago. I am pleased to make your acquaintance. It is pleasing to know that there are heroes of real metal here in Trademeet, ones with both courage and ability. As it so happens, I have need of such people. Please, if you are interested in the reward for performing such a task, do come and speak to me at my mansion. I look forward to seeing you there.
I see that vicious harpy has already pounced upon you. Ignore whatever she says. She is a conniving witch and a liar.
These are kind of gendered slurs.
I am Lord Scarmayan Ali Bakar, and it is my family that founded Trademeet, not hers. So I greet you in the name of the town's premier family.
But he does sound like a very bitter person.
No doubt Lady Lilith has asked you to perform a service for her. I happen to need the same service done, so I ask that you come to see me in my home so that we may discuss it further. If you are foolish and work for the Loraxels, however, you will not be welcome in my home. Think carefully on this.
I am sorry they chose to involve you in their schemes. The Loraxels and the Ali Bakars are old and powerful families here, and they have been feuding for generations. Be careful in your dealings with them, that's all I can say. I have here a reward that the town merchants have gathered for you.
Conjured. Alright. So we got quite a lot of gold, a good bit of experience. We got a bunch of gems and a pretty nice shield. And of course some loot. So all in all, this is a really lucrative quest.
Whatever you desire.
Where are the merchants? Must be night.
I need a swig of some strong dwarven ale.
I just want to unload this shit. Ooh, he has a scroll case. Wooden stake. Okay. There are two pieces of information in that initial statement. The first is that... Ooh. The first is that... Huh? That's weird. It's like seriously weird. Okay. The first is that one thing can be judged to be better or worse than another. And the second is that this judgment can be used potentially to say that you're endorsing one thing over another, and he wants to be sure that you don't do that. Okay, that you don't assume that he's endorsing one thing over another. But the initial comparison has to be valid. It has to be a real comparison in order for the second portion of that to have any meaning. For instance, if you say that if you formulate your argument like this, you say, If I say that the number 3 is worse than the color blue, that doesn't mean I'm endorsing the color blue. The second portion of that statement, which is I'm not endorsing the color blue, it has no meaning. The comparison has to have meaning in order for the second portion of that statement to actually hold any information. So what does it mean to say that one thing is worse than another? There's a serious flaw in this argument. It's not a fatal flaw. It's one that can be overcome. But because Richard Dawkins didn't even make the first attempt to support his assertion, he basically leaves it as an exercise to the reader to fix his argument for him.
By Moradin's hammer!
That's a lot of money. We don't actually use, so we're going to sell these. You can compare two things and say that one is worse than the other. But what does that mean, worse? It means that, one is better than the other according to some kind of standard. You can't say that one thing is worse than another thing without having a standard by which to measure them.
I need a swig of some strong dwarven ale.
An example was given on a message board by someone who is not Richard Dawkins, who was trying to defend Richard Dawkins, of an earthquake. Is it possible to say that one earthquake is worse than another? And of course, the answer is yes, but you have to... we're going to talk to the Owl of the Cars, I think. He's an extremely bitter person.
Is that all?
Let's indulge his bitter hatefulness.
Do not touch me. Speak and be done with it.
I think he was wearing red before. He changed his clothes. It's not actually haunted. There are ghosts in there. And the Loraxels, of course, also have a key.
Nothing to it.
Oops. There we go.
Greetings once again.
Just one answer? It does serve at 2 families. That's legit. Alright.
Whatever.
So this one skeleton warrior is, actually not a skeleton warrior.
I shall prevail. I shall prevail.
Alright. So now we just destroyed their ancestor, I think, and took his stuff. Okay. Yeah. So, you know, you can say that one earthquake was worse than, you know, another, by all means, but you have to specify what standard you're using to measure, you know, the idea of being worse. Oh, okay. You can actually wear it. We're not going to. Are you talking about loss of human life? Are you talking about property damage? Are you talking about sheer energy released? Which is what's measured on the Richter scale. That's what people usually mean when say which one was more powerful than the other. But to say one thing is worse than another, you have to specify that you're talking about a particular standard. You know, are you measuring how far the Earth actually moved relative to the two sides of the rift? You know, when you say one is worse than the other, what standard are you using? Without that standard, this phrase is meaningless, and without the comparison having some kind of meaning, the second portion to say that you're endorsing one over the other, or not endorsing one over the other, is also meaningless. So this is not a fatal problem with Richard Dawkins' argument, but it is a problem that he did not even bother to bring up. So the one of the he then went on to illustrate his assertion here. The second portion of his statement is essentially, if you don't agree with this, then the problem is with you and not with me, which is also unsupported.
What would you like? I'm waiting.
But he went on to
Nothing
go look
to
at our statues. Unfortunately, my ferret is not represented. If you go if you have a party, then it'll say companion of, you know, me. It'll just, I don't even think it gives their names. It just says a companion of me. I'm the only one who's named. That's pretty funny.
Yes. Whatever you want.
We're going to give it to the mayor because we don't really want to fuck up Trademeet.
If you say so.
Greetings once again.
So he gives us only a quarter, but I think he actually gives us more EXP than the dueling families would have.
Of course.
Are they only here during the day? Okay.
Oh, you know, I could really use some rest.
Yeah. Let's have a nap.
If that's what you want.
Hi, friend.
That is left completely unexplained in this game. It'll be explained in Throwing a Ball.
Never had rats. No siree.
Is it daytime?
Whatever you desire.
I have nothing you wish.
You're a stranger.
So there's a Temple to Joaquin here that I almost never go in.
Is that all?
But here we have that mural that we sometimes see in the transition screen. One of the first examples he uses, and I think maybe the first example that he uses, is, where are the...
Well, I certainly don't like the look of you.
Yard apes?
I don't usually speak to the likes of you, but hello.
Okay. Man, did I mess something up? He says that, if he says that, mild pedophilia...
I am telling you, my brother, the correct way to approach life is to accept its travails. One must bend as the willow and see the obstacles that the gods place in front of you as challenges to be overcome.
He says, if I say that a mild pedophilia is bad and violent pedophilia is worse, that doesn't mean I'm endorsing mild pedophilia. What does that even mean?
Don't be moronic. You must struggle. Through struggle we grow stronger. Only the strong survive. And I am not your brother.
This almost seems like the philosophy of the shadows in Babylon 5. Although this guy's philosophy is not the philosophy of the Vorlons. Theirs was quite different.
You.
Be gone, commoner. I have my own business to attend to.
So he's a philosopher and he has a bodyguard or something.
You certainly aren't from around here, are you?
As long as you're not the taxman.
Yeah, okay. So now the merchants actually have some stuff. This is pretty nice. But you have to be a dwarf. This is interesting, but not as nice as some things. Staff of striking. Maybe we'll get that. I think it actually becomes a summon. Not sure. I don't think I've ever used it. Cloak of Displacement would be nice if we didn't already have a cloak. It only has, it doesn't have bonuses all the way across. I might still get it. We like our current belt because again it's it has a nice save for but only on one one saving throw. Missiles usually don't hit us because we have this girdle of piercing. Missiles usually don't hit us. And we can get 100% resistance to magic damage with protection from magical energy. Well, those are pretty cool for things that, yeah. This gives us a +3 for piercing weapons, so which are every missile weapon is piercing. So this actually keeps us from getting hit at all. It's better than. We don't get hit at all except on critical rolls, and then our stone skin will absorb it. So 0 damage is better than a 25% damage reduction, in my opinion. And this gives us a saving throw bonus on everything.
As long as you're not the taxman.
Whereas this gives us a saving throw bonus on only 3 things, but it is +2. See, Death Breath Wand. So we would lose 1 on spells and 1 on polymorph. There's 1.
Is this important? As long as you're not the taxman.
I don't think that actually helped. It doesn't reflect the... Oh. Alright. Now let's look at it. Maybe that's better. Let's carry it for a while at least.
Is this important?
Yes, that's right. That claymore's gonna get awfully heavy by the end of the day.
I need a swig of some strong dwarven ale.
See what he has. Nothing, I don't think. He's the one that we sold our shit to. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, friend.
What does that even mean? Mild pedophilia. What the hell is that? One of these guys has a special short bow.
May you know the happiness of a warm hearth and home.
Huh. Can't find him. One of them has a special short bow. which is really useful for, damn. Oh well. There's another quest here that we are not getting.
Whatever you want.
I don't know why. Let's see what's going on here.
Hmm?
Alright.
Just ask. Tell me all about it.
There was not too long ago, Richard Dawkins gave a interview in which he talked, among other things, about essentially being molested as a kid. And he said that what he had experienced was not that terrible.
I serve this land regardless.
We got here like within minutes.
I'll heed no churlishness, peasant.
I don't get how you reach this conclusion. She's an adult? People keep saying I have no noble blood. I have divine blood. Fuck you.
Your Grace, you return.
Let's go collect our money. Now, it's perfectly fine for Richard Dawkins to decide that he has not been harmed by a particular thing. You know,
Nothing to it.
there's no correct or incorrect way for someone who is a victim of that kind of abuse to respond. And he's certainly entitled to decide that he was not affected at all. But this guy that was doing this was doing it to more than just him.
Whatever you want.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
And he does not get to decide that it was no big deal, absolutely.
If you say so.
He's allowed to decide it was no big deal for him. He's not allowed to decide that it was no big deal for, you know, on an absolute scale.
Of course.
There are other people who were victims of this guy. And Richard Dawkins doesn't get to say that those people were not harmed. And that was the big objection that a lot of people made to his statement. And
If that's what you... I'm waiting.
Richard Dawkins, his response essentially was that those people were just emoting at him. That he was being illogical, and they were just emoting. But if we look at this logically, remember our original analysis of this.
Whatever you desire.
You have to have some kind of standard by which you are measuring worse. You can't say something is worse than something else. No payment yet. Okay. Without a standard by which to measure that statement.
Do it.
The problem when you're dealing with
Whatever
trauma to people is that nobody can know someone else's inner world. Nobody can know what anyone else thinks. We all assume that other people react in the same or at least a similar way to the way we react to things. But that's just an assumption.
What would you like?
What effects does this give us? Plus 4 versus missile weapons. That's pretty good.
Nothing to it.
Oh, yeah. She died because she was supposed to be standing out there when the Talisman's attacked. I think. I mean, I'm just assuming that. But I think that's how that works. We're going to go ahead and hold on to this. What else we got here? Oh, sewer key. Let's do that. Not this time. I think we're going to have to wrap this one up.
Whatever you want.
Oh, we actually get to it through here. Okay.
If you say so. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, next time I'm going to go on more about why this is, why this statement of his is not actually logical. And more about what he said and why he's an idiot. Whoops.
If that's what you want.
I think we could actually kill them without any kind of, yeah. I think we could actually kill them without any kind of reputation loss or anything. But next time we're going to go in here. We're going to take care of this, and it won't be hard. And we'll talk more about Richard Dawkins. So join me then. Later.